Why did Jesus write on the ground? A seemingly simple action, a silent gesture, in the middle of a bloodthirsty crowd. Yet, a gesture so powerful that even after millennia, it still shakes our souls. What did Jesus write with his finger? Why did he bend down twice? Why didn't he say a word at first? Why did he choose the dust over the stones? This moment takes place in one of the most tense episodes in the Gospel. A woman is caught in adultery. The scribes and Pharisees drag her before Jesus, not out of zeal for the law, but to trap him. Teacher, this woman was caught in the very act of adultery. The law of Moses commands us to stone such women. What do you say? Jesus doesn't answer. He doesn't give them the satisfaction of a debate. He doesn't play their game, does it? He stoops down and begins writing on the ground with his finger. Silence. Only the sound of his finger on the dust. Scene that confuses, that provokes, that humbles, because that gesture spoke louder than any word. What did Jesus write? The Bible doesn't say, but that silence, that mystery, became the most powerful message of all. Some believe Jesus wrote the sins of the accusers. Others say it was the 10 Commandments. And some think he was simply giving time for their rage to cool. But there's something we cannot ignore. It was the finger of God writing on the ground. And we've seen that before. Scroll the finger of God in the Bible. In Exodus, God writes the 10 Commandments on stone, a law that reveals sin. In Daniel, a supernatural hand writes on the wall of Babylon, imminent judgment on a rebellious kingdom. Now, Jesus writes in the dust. What does that tell us? The first time the finger of God brought law. The second it brought judgment. Now, in John chapter 8, the finger of God writes mercy. Jesus knew the woman was guilty, and he knew the accusers were too. The difference was that she knelt before grace, while they hid behind religion. One by one they left, from the oldest to the youngest, not out of fear, but because the weight of truth broke them inside. Jesus didn't shame them with words. He exposed them with love, with silence, with truth written, not in stone, but in the dust from which they were formed. The woman was left alone, trembling, waiting for the condemnation she deserved. But the one standing before her wasn't just a judge. He was the Savior. Jesus stood up and asked her, "Where are your accusers? Has no one condemned you?" She replied with a trembling voice, "No one, Lord." And he said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." He didn't justify her sin. He didn't humiliate her either. He simply restored her. This is the gospel in one scene. Humanity guilty, religion accusing, and Christ writing grace in the dust, because he knows the dust is fragile. But he also knows that with his touch, that same dust can become a new creation. Do you still feel condemned by your past? Do you believe your mistakes disqualify you? Remember, Jesus didn't write on stone. He wrote on the earth, because dust can be erased, and through his blood, it can be redeemed. Jesus is still writing today, in hearts willing to be transformed, in broken souls that come in humility, in lives marked by sin, but touched by grace. Open book, neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. That wasn't just a phrase for a woman long ago. It is the voice of Christ, speaking to you today.